Hey guys, it's me Jocelyn. So today I'm going to be showing you some advanced transitions on alight motion. So let's just get started. This first transition is going to be a page curl with a little bit of turbulence. First off, I want to say ignore any background noise. I've got a fan going over there because it's been so hot out. So just disregard that. Anyways, you're going to want to have your two clips set up like this. One right here that's just about to end and then one right in the middle of that clip. And on that first one, you're going to want to have page curl added on. And I didn't change anything special about these settings. I just keyframe progress from 123% down to 0%, and I used this graph right here. Now, after I added on page curl, I added on some exposure just for a little bit of a glow once the page is coming down. As you can see, she's kind of highlighted right there. And then I added on stretch axis. So what you want to do, this is to make the little like bouncy turbulence type look. You're going to want to keyframe scale from 1.47 down to 1. And I use this graph right here. And then you're going to want to keyframe angle from 45 degrees down to 360 degrees or somewhere around there. And this graph right here. And that's pretty much it just for this one. I also use random displacement. You want to keyframe magnitude from 101 down to 0. And then you want to keyframe evolution from 0 to about 4 or 4.6. And this is what it should end up looking like. Now, I think I forgot to say this, but I did do zoom out at the beginning. I just think that's what looks best. And on the clip itself, I did zoom that out as well. So I just did a simple zoom out on the paper roll clip or whatever. And I also added on a shadow, just showing you like all the little effects that I made to help make this clip. And yeah, this is the first transition. I love this transition because I don't really see page curls anymore in edits, and I love them so much. And yeah. So this next transition is going to be kind of like a luma key flip type thing. So you're going to want to have your two clips set up like this. And on your second clip, you're going to want to add on luma key, obviously. You're going to want to keyframe low from about 900 to 0. I used this graph right here for that because I had a very certain way that I wanted it to look when it was coming up. I didn't want it to be too fast or too slow, so I used this graph right here. And I also made the feather about 120 because I like the look of the feather. I like when it makes everything look soft and not like straight edges. I don't know, that's always irritated me in editing. If you know, you know. Next, I added on flip layer, and I changed the axis to 90 degrees, and I keyframed it on angle from 315 degrees down to 0 degrees, and I used this graph right here. Make sure to enable overshoot when you're making this graph right here. Next, what I did is I added on exposure and gamma just to give it a little bit of a glow, so I just keyframe from exposure from about 60 to 0. I never use a graph on exposure, but you can if you want. And last but not least, I used spectral map, and I keyframed alpha from about 30 to 0. And I didn't use a graph on that either, and if I did, it looks like this. And yeah, this is literally it. It's so cute and simple, and I just love it. This next transition is kind of like a rotated reveal, so what you want to do is you want to have your two clips set up like this. And on your second clip, add on wipe. Keyframe both start and end from 50% down to 0% for start and down to 100% for end. So make sure they both start out keyframed at 50%, and on the second keyframe for start, make that 0%, and on the second keyframe for end, make that 100%. And I use this graph for the both of them right here. Next thing I did is I also made the feather 1.8. Like I said, I love the look of the feather. You don't have to add that if you don't want to. And next thing I did is I went on to rotation, and I added two keyframes, one at the beginning and one at the end. And on the one at the beginning, I keyframed it from 193 degrees down to 0, and I used this graph right here. Now, and the very last thing I did is I just went to opacity, turned it down, added a keyframe, moved a few frames forward, added another keyframe, and then just turned it back up. I didn't add on a graph or anything for that. As you can see, this is just what it looks like. You could definitely add on any other effects like spectral map or exposure to kind of spice it up, but I kind of got lazy with it. So yeah. And this very last transition is a personal favorite of mine, and it is a radial spin. So first things first, you're going to want to be set up like this. Go into your first clip, go to move and transform, and I'll go on the rotation panel, keyframe it, one at the beginning, one at the end, and on the first keyframe, make that 258, and make the second keyframe 0. I use this graph right here. Then you're going to want to go ahead and add on radial wipe. You're going to want to make the progress from 360 degrees to 0 degrees, and you're going to want to have it set on counterclockwise. You can adjust the feather if you want. I did, and I loved it, but that's up to you. And then I added on a simple little flash, And then I went to spectacle map because I've been obsessed with that effect in this video, and I just keyframed the alpha from about 30 down to 0, and I used this graph right here. And I also added on a shadow just because I like the look of it. That's optional. And then I just added on motion blur and tiles, which is kind of the basics. And if you're wondering why I'm rushing, it's because my phone is literally about to die. But yeah, this is the final transition, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and comment down below any tutorial requests that you guys may have. And yeah, I love you guys. Bye!